Good afternoon, cult members and Whovians, and welcome to the Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
Jiminy crimey, it's going to be one of those, isn't it? And welcome to our instantly after the episode review, discussion, wild speculation of Doctor Who. This one was called Lux. This is Season 2, Episode 2. Because, like comics, they've decided to start renumbering everything from 1 again. This is Volume 7, Episode 4 of the 3rd volume of the... Anyways. And this one's called Lux, and this is the cartoon 50s era one that they had kind of teased us in the trailer.
Yep.
Thoughts?
You're going to make me go first, huh? It's... So the second episode, for quite a while now, has always been kind of a throwaway episode, kind of a weird,
take a wild swing at something.
Yeah, and I don't know why that is, because I can think, Capaldi, it was happening even with him, so I was like, okay. All right, this is going to be, silly, whatever, robots with emoji faces, whatever. But it kind of wasn't. Like, it started out that way, and then it...
Yeah.
And then it went places.
I trying to wrap my brain around my emotions right now. This is an episode, for me personally, that I think it's going to come back around and mean a ton more later when we get around to everything.
Well, yeah, because we've got the what is his name? It's not the Joker.
Harbinger?
Well, they're harbingers of...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I guess they're all harbingers of whoever the big bad is.
Yeah.
So the...
Killed Shutek. They dealt with Shutek, Maestro, and then...
Neil Patrick Harris's character. I can't remember what his name was.
Is the Lord of Games.
The Giggle Master? I don't know. Giggle? I don't...
Keep talking.
Giggle was the name of the episode.
Yeah. Yeah, don't laugh.
But...
yeah.
Yeah, so definitely, and now Lux is also a harbinger of whoever this big bad is. So it's definitely going to mean something down the road.
Yeah, yeah.
And then at the end, Mrs. Flood is there again.
Right. I just, it's not coming up because IMDb is weird. There's 2 different entries for Doctor Who. And so...
Yeah, I'm sure somebody will tell us in the comments.
Somebody will tell us in the comments.
Be nice.
Yes, that's a requirement around here. Because that's the whole... Oh, there's the Catherine Tate. Everybody talks amongst yourself for a minute.
I did. I can't...
Yeah. My emotions in this episode is... Yes, I think this is going to be one of those episodes that we come back around to and are going to be like, this is important. And I think we're also going to come back around as fans and go, wait, this episode's a lot better than people initially said. And I say that because this is the most meta episode that we've ever had in Doctor Who. They get sucked into a cartoon because the god of light, Lux, has manifested himself into a 1940s style cartoon character in real life, and then sucks them into the cartoon world, and then they kind of Cassandra and the Doctor figure out like how to
Belinda Chaudhry.
Belinda. There's a C and an Andra in there somewhere. Belinda. They figure how to get themselves out, and through that process, they work through the screen.
Yes.
And step into fans of the show watching the show.
Right.
And them talking about like their favorite episode is Blink and working their way through everything.
Yes. Blink is amazing, but the Van Gogh episode, come on.
Yeah, and mine's
Husbands of River Song.
Husbands of River Song or When a Good Man Goes to War. But just to show you my extremes. But the reason I'm hesitating to say what I'm starting to feel in my heart is this is so out of left field. This is such a wild swing. Like you were talking about with it, the second episodes have been recently taking a much more of a risk than what is traditionally for Doctor Who. This is such a wild swing with a cartoon and being meta and talking about the fans and the fans loving the show, but then arguing over like things like there's all these layers. Segregated South and Miami in the 50s.
I was gonna say that they've never they've never just come out and said that there's going to be an issue with the fact that we are both, people of color.
Yeah.
And because even when Bill was with Capaldi's doctor, she said, because they went back to like 1890s London or whatever. And she even said, this is going to be an issue for me. And he's like, why? And she's like, I'm black. Hello. Yeah. And he was like, people see what we want them to see or something like that. So they've always kind of yada yada that kind of stuff.
Even the Rosa Parks episode with Jodie was kind of that way.
Yeah. Because I guess they
kind of did because Ryan was black, and so
well, and the girl who is they both had to kind of sit in the back of the bus, I think, didn't they? Or they wouldn't let them sit in the front. So yeah, I guess that's not the first time, but they have gotten better about not just.
That was one of my welcome to one of our reviews where we're all over the place.
If you didn't watch the show, go watch the show because we're not gonna beat by beat go over it.
Yeah, that was one of my major concerns when they announced that Jodie was leaving. That if they hired a black man, are they going to shy away from having those kind of conversations? And they have not. And I've been very happy that they have been like, this is part of history. In our fun sci-fi time travel show, which deals with social things a lot over the last probably 5 or 6 seasons, it's been one of those things that I was like really concerned that they were going to shy away from it. And they're not leading into it like maybe the Chibnall era did, but they definitely aren't shying away from it, which I think is the difference of why I enjoy this version of this Doctor, is because they're having the fun adventures at the same time of dealing with some of the big implications.
It's almost an afterthought, and in that I mean that we're going to do this episode, and here's all this stuff that we're going to do, and it's going to take place in Miami in the 50s. So, by the way, we need to address the fact that Florida is in the South and, in America in the 50s.
It's the way I appreciate this way of doing, talking about social issues in my sci-fi shows. It's the same way that Deadpool, the second Deadpool movie, they had the first openly gay couple, and they were just there. They didn't do a press release, so they didn't talk about, oh, it's so great that the two women are together. They were just there,
right? And
that's what they have been doing with this version of this show, of this particular version of the show, is not shying away from it, but also not leaning into it.
It's not the topic of episode. Yeah. It is an episode. This is, we have to address this, and now we're moving on.
I really think if you hold my feet to the fire right now, I really like this episode. I like the wild swings when they take them. and not every Wild Swing hits with me, but this one hit with me so much because if they had led with this instead of the Neil Patrick Harris Lord of Games and stuff like that. Yeah. But they've set up the Harbinger that there's all these older than the universe entities who are attacking the Doctor under somebody else's tutelage, command, suggestion, or whatever. I would have really struggled with this episode. But the idea that they spent last year, then they had all these different versions of these different gods show up, and then to have the Mr. Dingle be Mr. Dingleberry.
I think it's something like that.
But to have him say, "Don't make me laugh, don't make me laugh, don't make me laugh, don't make me laugh," I thought that was a much more of a it's Alan Cumming, and I went whizzing by it. Mr. Ring-a-Ding-Ding.
Ring-a-Ding.
Who is voiced by Alan Cumming, who is having a renaissance on TV. I thought that there was like, if you make me laugh, that's what's going to trigger pulling people into the void or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Until the Doctor said, after he like repeated a couple times, "Don't make me laugh, don't make me laugh, don't make me laugh,"
and then I went ha ha ha
yeah, before Mr. Ring-a-Ding did, and I was like, "Oh, God damn it!" And then the sign changes, and it says "Coming soon, Harbinger." Mm-hmm. And so that was one of those like, "Oh, okay, we're definitely leaning into this a little bit."
I don't think this one, just sitting here talking about it, I don't think it's any weirder, more out there than the Maestro was.
Yeah, and I really like that episode.
Yeah, I did
really
too.
Like that episode.
I think it's just, it's taking a minute to sit with. Making Lux light in the universe out there floating around. That's gonna come back to bite the Doctor in the butt.
Yeah.
And now we know that the 24th of May,
2025
is, and that's when the second to the last episode this season comes out. Something's gonna happen.
And they showed at the end of the episode last week, like the TARDIS they keeps bouncing off where they're supposed to go to on Earth to make it back to the 24th of May, and they get to the TARDIS leaves because it keeps bouncing, and they've panned back, and the Eiffel Tower is floating in space, and Big Ben, and Statue of Liberty, and then a map, and then a calendar goes by, which is kind of like a map for days.
A map of days.
Calendar goes floating by, and everything's marked off to the 23rd.
Right.
And so there's
and he's got this time vortex fishing pole that he's now pulling.
Totally what it is.
Pulling the TARDIS the long way to get back to the 24th. So that's how it's going to happen, right? We're going to, because he even says we may have to make a couple stops between here and there. So
triangulate.
So that's that's what they're going to do. They're going to jump around until we get to the 24th, when it's finally going to let them back in. Earth on the 24th.
Yeah.
And then I don't want the season to end, but I want it to hurry up and get there. So we know what it is.
Want to know. We're 2 episodes in, and I'm really invested on what that is.
Yeah.
Because it's not Christmas crash, like a Christmas disaster, right? So
London's like, can we move away from Christmas?
Can it be New York this time? No, we can't do New York again.
No, we've done New York
several times. Can we do Boston? No, it's done Boston too. Shit. All
right. I was just gonna say I'm really liking Belinda Verada Sethu.
I haven't heard how it's said. I haven't heard how.
Anyway, I'm really liking her as the companion.
Yes.
We last week she wasn't taking his poo. His I don't know how you put it, kind of just come along with me and don't ask any questions and let's go do the thing. And she's like, no. And so she's sassy.
Martha Jones. Everybody has been making the Martha Jones. And Chibnall wrote Martha Jones.
Yeah.
So there's a direct, like, I won't say they're the same character because they're not, but there's a lot of, they share a lot of the same traits, the same kind of thought process behind what they are, because they're both, nurses and a nurse and a doctor, and they have their own lives and they have their own families. And they even address that Melinda doesn't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or anybody important, or dog back home. She's got her mom and dad. Mom's a violinist. Dad's a really bad singer, but loves to sing, and he's an accountant, or I think it was an accountant, tax person.
Yeah,
and so like she's drawn to come home because she has
a life.
Yeah, and that's Martha kind of went along for a while, but she kept going like, I want to go home. I wanted to go home, and I like that idea. Especially when you have that compared to, like, Rose, who was, like, ready.
Who didn't ever want to leave.
She didn't want to leave. She was ready for the adventure. She was kind of in a not a great circumstance. She loved her mom, but they didn't have any money. So this opportunity to go off. And then Clara was very much that way, too. Clara was inquisitive and wondrous. And so she always was, like... The doctor showed up and she's like, yeah, I want to go see what it is. Yeah, I want to do it. Amy is a whole nother thing. Like, and then the fam, which I still don't like, with Jody, it was all of them, Graham, Ryan, and Yaz, all of them had parts of both the wonder, I want to go see what the universe is like, and the I want to go home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they all took turns with that. And so, yeah, I really like what they're doing with her, that she's not putting up with this poo, but she's also inquisitive enough, especially in this episode where they like, she's like, it's 1952 outside, and she's like, I was sleeping in this clothes. Yeah. And then they go off and they get changed, and like she's embracing the costume. Yeah. And then she goes out and she's like looking around, like having this moment of, oh my God, my brain is finally starting to put it all together, that we've moved, we're doing stuff, it's actually happening. Yeah. And she was the one, like, he would like, do you want to go look at the creepy haunted movie theater cinema across the street with the guy who's still playing movies? And she's like, yeah, okay, let's go. Like, so she's embracing it, but there's still that, she's still, even when they solve the mystery, she still was like, okay, I like to go home now. Yeah. And so, I agree with all of that. Is the three Whovians watching the show who were supposed to go away because they were part of the show, since the post-credit scene or the
I think we see them again.
That's what I was saying. Do we see them again?
Yeah, I think we do. I think a lot of stuff may end up in this May 24th episode. I think that's where we're gonna see
Ruby Sunday.
Ruby. I'm like, Rose. No, that's not it. Yeah, Ruby.
We might see Rose. We might see the new Rose, too. I think she was in the trailer.
Yes.
Donna's daughter.
Yes. Yeah, because I think, Unit.
I think Unit.
Which makes sense. I mean, it's the end of the world, so we're going to show up and everybody's going to be there. So, yeah, I think that stuff's going to happen then.
What about Donna and 10/15?
That would be... that would be... Yes, I would like... They need to pick up that thread, because it's all just hanging out there.
I very much want them to either put a very big bow tie that wraps that up, or...
Bow ties are cool now.
Bow ties are cool. He was wearing a bow tie. Or integrate them more into the story.
Yeah, and I don't. Yeah, I don't see a lot of that happening. I mean, he's a little busy doing a lot of other things, but
Catherine Tate's not
she's pretty busy too.
yeah, but she's always said whenever they call, I'll be there. So.
Yeah, I mean they might do the big finale, and maybe they like when Nchuti changes, maybe they both go together and come out whoever the new doctor is.
Yeah, that would be interesting. They actually talked about the bi generation because he burned his hand on the film, and he talked about how it had some extra energy. So I've been saving it for just a moment.
Yeah, because he didn't regenerate.
Right.
He didn't regenerate. He
right.
bi-generated.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. So there's some complications with all of that. Okay, we have to talk about, since there's a cartoon in this episode, the Scooby Doo stuff. Oh my God. Okay, so when Belinda says you want to Scooby Doo this a little bit, and the doctor says no, come on, sweetheart, I'm Velma.
Yeah,
we both lost it because it's on point. I like when shows are meta. I like when things are meta enough to point out that the other kind of adjacent things that are relative to what they're actually doing.
Yeah.
And so this was very much a Scooby-Doo episode at times. Like, it was starting to lean into the Scooby-Doo-ness of it, except we didn't get the mask reveal, and it was Mr. Hopkins the entire time kind of thing. I mean, we kind of got that. I mean, it's not the classic Scooby-Doo mask reveal, but it is with the presentation of Harbinger. It's kind of that, but they even with the we can't pull the screen down to move. We have to move forward, and both of them like turning and staring at the camera and then moving closer and stuff. Like, I was like, are they gonna bust through the screen right now? Because that's.
I mean, they kind of did.
They kind of did. So it's meta stuff like that I've really been. I really appreciate when they use it correctly. It's not nostalgia Easter eggs for Easter eggs. It's within the world that they have to do it. So I thought that was pretty good. Mrs. Flood. So last season we had, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, who kept showing up in each episode. But Mrs. Flood was in the beginning and the end of the series, and then she was in the first episode at the flat next door this season, and then she was in 1952, pointing out to everybody who was saved, watch this, it's really cool. So is she one of the gods, or is she like an overseer to be there?
I don't know. I mean, she was gonna kill Ruby's grandmother when
yeah, was it a kill or just keep her
I don't
safe
know. No, I don't know about safe. But she was possessed, when all of that was I thought she was going to kill her, but maybe some of that, maybe that was a ruse. Maybe she is the thing, the big bad.
Yeah.
Or something remained.
Something remained. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, because it could be something else. Yeah, I just like this. I like this plot thread that is not being discussed by any. Some people are discussing it. I will put it that way. Some people are discussing it. But that there's this thing that is going on for like 30 seconds every episode that is tied into all the other episodes that has no explanation to it at all.
I mean, she knows what the TARDIS is, because in the very first episode, The Church on Ruby Road, she she like looked at the camera
Yeah,
and
that was disturbing, by the way.
And like was pointing out that the TARDIS was gonna
Yeah.
disappear. So she knows something.
Yeah. I'm liking that mystery going on, and them not really like spoon feeding anything to us right now.
Right. That was one of our complaints with the Jodie doctor, was that there wasn't really that underlying thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and even with the Flux stuff, now that the Flux had a whole different issue, but yeah, there was that underlying stuff that we need to have. So, I think this episode ultimately is going to be one of the ones we're going to come back to and really enjoy. And so, I would like to know from you guys what you thought of this episode and our ramblings about it. If you're on the Spotify side, subscribe to our channel and follow us. We're actually. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Spotify. We are doing Doctor Who, Last of Us. We just got done with Daredevil, and we start Andor this week, and we're doing these kind of longer form discussions each week with this. So follow us and subscribe to both of those, and then we're on and hit the bell for notifications and all that kind of stuff. And then we're on the social media stuff: Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and TikTok. And I'm also writing for the Geekiary. The links are in the description down below. Till next time, cult members, which will be about 25 hours for Last of Us. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night now.